Good afternoon and welcome to PQP Part 2.
Good afternoon. We would like to acknowledge that we're recording today from the traditional territory of Fort William First Nation and MQWaju. And we're situated here in Thunder Bay. We happen to be having the tail end of a winter storm, so welcome to winter, I guess, is for those of you who are in Canada. So, Christy's going to do introductions and then I will do my introductions.
So today you would have seen posted hopefully in your news section, we put in a basic introduction with some housekeeping items, so please take a moment to look in the announcements. That's really critical. My name is Christy Radburn. I am a principal with the Lakehead District School Board and I've been a principal with them for 8 years now. I've had varied experiences at both rural schools, urban schools, big schools, small schools. I've also was a teacher for, I think, oh my goodness, 13 years? Yeah, 13 years. Is it that long? It comes and goes quickly, as I'm sure most of you know. I have a master's from Lakehead University. That's where my Bachelor of Ed was also from. And I'm currently working on my PhD in education. What I'm looking at is actually education leadership. So this,
and they'll get a chance to check it out.
You will. You'll get a chance in Module 6.2, I believe, or 6.3, to take a look at some ideas that come out of my research work. So I'm excited to hear some of your thoughts on that because I do ask you to engage in some activities. I have 2 children, and for those of you that are in my 2 courses, which are Section E and Section F, you will have seen they are very busy teenagers. One is also at Lakehead University as a first-year student. The other is a grade 10 student, and we do hockey, football, wrestling, mountain biking, lacrosse, skiing, a little bit of everything. So it's important. This is a busy course, but the good news is you have a good 11 weeks to finish it. And so that's a nice lengthy time. The modules are spaced out to open roughly every 10 to 11 days. And that gives you some time to complete them. However, you're welcome to go back to any modules throughout the course. As a busy person myself, though, we recognize that you're busy too. So if there's issues, we ask that you
Send us a note.
Send us a note. And I'll pass it on to Denise.
All right. Bonjour. Denise Baxter and Dijnakas, Makmadodam, Martin Falls and Donjaba. I'm Denise Baxter. I am a member of Martin Falls First Nation, Anishinaabe, and member also, I'm a Bear Clan person. And I started teaching in 1993, a long time ago. I was a student at Nipissing for my Bachelor of Education. Prior to that, I actually have a degree of arts in music and psychology from Laurier. Did my master's in education, curriculum, and teaching through OISE, and working on my PhD right now through York around decolonizing landscapes of post-secondary institutions. I spent at least, I think, maybe 14 years working as a school administrator. 3 years of that time I spent as a Student Achievement Officer with the Literacy Numeracy Secretariat, it was called at the time. Now it's called the Student Achievement Division. I have worked as a teacher and a principal in First Nations elementary and secondary schools. I've worked as a principal in the public system in the K-8 landscape, French immersion and English. And then my last post before I left the board last year, I was the principal of adult and continuing education. So I guess between us all, I think we have just about everything covered in terms of opening brand new schools, opening private First Nation schools, working both in First Nation communities and in public systems. As a Student Achievement Officer, I spent a lot of time working in several Catholic systems as well as public systems, so had a really nice opportunity to work within both boards and I guess both streams. I have 2 daughters, one in grade 12 who is she's rolling into her final exams for the semester, really having I guess moments of high and then moments of stress and deciding, what the rest of her life, although I keep reminding her, do something you love and just, it will all unfold as you go. And I think for probably both of us, education just kind of came that way as well. I know in high school, the last thing I thought I would ever be was an educator, but life has a way of taking you places where you have those awesome experiences and then you start thinking, I actually enjoy this. So it's never felt like work. It's always just been something I really love to do. Currently, my role at Lakehead University, I'm the Vice Provost of Aboriginal Initiatives. So I have a chance to work with a really awesome team of people, and we do a lot of work with high schools and elementary schools and helping children find access ways and then success once they attend university. So it's really it sort of was the next step after adult education for me. On my family note, my husband and I work with 6 other black belts and run a karate club here in town. And everyone in our family does karate, so you'll see me there Monday, Wednesday nights most weeks. And I ski, so I was happy to see the snow because I was skiing on the weekend with my youngest daughter, and the hills were okay. But we haven't had a ton of snow yet, so this was a welcome addition, minus the shoveling at 6:30 this morning. Yeah. But winter is definitely here.
That's some good news. We had an extra day at Christmas holidays today because Thunder Bay schools were all closed today.
Yeah, so we're able to
get our...
I was doing work, but
yes.
We online kind of work. But we're happy to be back with the group.
So that is an introduction we want to do because we know some of you may be new to our instruction, Denise and I. So we're welcoming you. Some have come to us from other providers. Some have come to us from our part 1, which may have been instructed by another instructor, and others though have been with us for our previous part 1. So we welcome all of you. We're excited to learn along with you, as we said in our post. We'll get right to a few housekeeping items. One of the most important things is how you contact us. We are available, but it's much easier to get us not through the course email. We certainly can answer questions there and we will address them. They take a bit longer because it's not something we are looking at every day. So I have provided you in the announcement that you got, I provided you with both of our WhatsApp contacts. WhatsApp is, I think most of you are probably familiar with it, but it's a web-based app, a texting app that's available for free.
And if I could just add, say who you are and
yes,
what section
please.
You're in, because people sometimes just send us notes saying, hey, and then
with
I'm not sure who you are. I'll answer the question, but I don't know
your
who I'm
name
talking
and your
to.
section is really important when you send that. But that's something that's with us all day, so we're able to answer it fairly quickly and get right back to you. Also in the course introduction, part is the requirements, and so I asked you in the housekeeping note in the announcements to please carefully read the course introduction section as well as the module, completely the module 1. The reason for that is many of the requirements and many of the questions you may have regarding what your responsibilities are in this course and what your responsibilities are for completing your practicum are addressed there. So some of those include...
Oh, I was going to say, just don't go through the discussions threads, read the content side, because everything will be there. So one of the things with the practicum in module 1.8, we need you to make a decision, choose a module that you want to talk to. If you can't get into the module you want because we're already noticing they're filling up, don't worry about it. Just pick one and put your practicum in there. We do kind of go with the most likely fit, I suppose, but it's not a requirement. So pick one and then you'll put your practicum in there.
Yeah, once you sign up on the Google Doc, we will give it a few days because folks will give people probably to the end of this week, and then we will start giving you your own discussion post place. So you'll have your own module, like 4.7 will be someone's module, or 3.6 will be someone's module, and it'll say practicum presentation, and it'll have your name there, and that's where you'll actually post, in that discussion post is where you'll post your presentation. The requirements of that presentation, I addressed them briefly in the announcement, but they're also can be found. There are 5 sample practicum presentations that we provide for you.
And those are completed practicums.
Yes.
So,
and that was one of the things I mentioned in the announcements. You do not have to have a completed practicum at this point. But will you be presenting on your proposal, your goals, any actions you've taken to date, any feedback, questions, wondering, successes, challenges, so that you can get a fulsome discussion with all the other professionals in our course and good feedback on how to go forward and complete it. If you're completed, fantastic, then you're presenting a completed practicum.
And so the presentations have taken multiple forms. I guess I would urge you to think about, knowing that this is an online course, what is the most effective way for you to communicate your learning to all the other candidates in the course. Some people have chosen to do like a mix, some people have chosen to do a PowerPoint, some people do a video, some people use all different kinds of electronic and technical platforms based on their own experiences, and put something that's engaging up for their your candidates to have a look at. So if you're going to do a video or you're going to do that type of thing, try not to make it too long. I would say keep it under 10 minutes. So you'll have to be a little bit concise and focused in what you're sharing.
One of the key pieces of your practicum, and this would have come up when you did your proposal, is that you have a qualified principal or vice principal as a mentor. If you are in a foreign country and have yet to establish this, because we do have folks working abroad, please let us know and we can try to help you find that right fit, okay?
And what it sometimes look like is you may have a mentor, say if you're in Cambodia, you may have a mentor in your school or a neighboring school who helps you with the day-to-day pieces, but you'll have an Ontario OCT, like Ontario College of Teachers, certified principal who will be your sign-off mentor. And that's the way, I guess quality assurance is how the Ontario College of Teachers likes that to work. Yeah. So just be aware of that. You can have two people, a day-to-day and another. And we will do introductions and try to find someone for you if you need that.
One of your requirements for the course is a log of your hours. You must demonstrate that you have worked in this course for 125 hours. That is separate from the hours that you will log for your practicum. So you cannot count your work in your practicum as coursework, and you cannot count your coursework as practicum work.
Right.
So they must be separate.
Maybe we just put down, save your log, like however you want to develop it. We kind of give you a sample, but you can make it however you want. It should have the date, the module or activity, and the number of hours. Right. You can put a little tiny, little note saying read 3.1 and completed post, 1 hour, say, or 2 hours. But then collect that all somewhere in some kind of form for yourself, and then at the very end of the course, you submit that under the assignments. Please do not email it to us.
No, it goes in the assignment box. So one thing we'd like to very quickly talk about, this course as well as PQP1 are created through a lens or a framework, and that lens or framework is really dedicated to social justice. And that includes topics such as equity, inclusivity, and decolonizing. And this is in alignment with currently the OCT sort of their course standards and the shape and form that that's taking right now. It certainly aligns with ministry documents on the same types of topics. And you will notice that we ask you at the beginning, we do a lot of work introducing, and if you were in our part 1 here with Lakehead, you would have seen some work on things like privilege, some work on equity, work on inclusive practices. You would have seen in our module, our First Nations Métis and Inuit Framework module, you would have seen some work on decolonizing structures and decolonizing sort of school structures and school procedures. We ask that when you are posting that you consider that that's the lens and framework through which this course is intended to draw out, and that's very intentional. And so when you are reflecting, when you are posting, consider from that standpoint. And we believe that if you've come through our part 1, you certainly have had the experience already of doing that. And you will see that we set you up through Module 1 and Module 2 to continue thinking in that space, and we would just like to kind of give you that sort of guideline first.
And I guess the other piece, just to address, is how we engage in critical discourse with each other in a respectful way. Not everybody's come from a work environment where that's a practice. I tended to run a very flat school where I was just in the middle with everybody, and everyone had we really challenged and did critical reflection and questioned deeply the value and validity of the work that we engaged in. And everyone had equal say around that table, and everyone had the right to bring forward evidence against or for, or sometimes just not related. But when we're in a typing environment, you don't have any tone to that. So we ask that you just be respectful and mindful of potentially how tone comes across through your typed words, because they don't see a smile on your face, or they don't have a cup of coffee and you're having this kind of conversation with them. So we just want to make sure that this remains a safe, inclusive environment for everybody to have a safe place to ask questions, not only of ourselves, but of each other, and for clarification and justification about, that's your experience, and, I can appreciate that, but I'm wondering, have you thought about this? Or, what maybe experiences have you had that have led you to think this? And so just be cautious as you're moving through that, but please engage in that fashion with people, because that's what actually helps us learn from and with each other. And given that we have candidates from around the world and a wide variety of experiences and backgrounds and life experiences, it's a really great opportunity to learn from a diverse group outside of maybe the normal pool of people that you engage with in your regular school.
And really last, we just want to hit on the intention of this course. This is, we don't intend the course to be a manual for the job. So this is not a step 1, step 2, step 3 for the VP or P position. It really is about gaining the skills to navigate this position. This is a changing position. It's shifting quickly now.
And constantly.
And constantly. Political landscapes are shifting, education landscapes are shifting, learning landscapes are shifting, research shifts. And so it's really meant to teach you those, the reflection skills, the collaboration skills, the communication skills, the ability to recognize growth and learning opportunities and how to take them and how to apply them. So we want you to also
how to build people.
Yeah,
I think for me that's a big piece of this job is how to build people.
And so we want you to think about that as you go forward. One of the things we were sort of talking about is the responsibilities. And we want you to, this one of the reasons we first ask you to really read very carefully the course introduction section and module 1. And the reality of it is that this is a job where not knowing isn't going to be an acceptable excuse. And so you need to know the fine print and the fine details. Does that mean you need to have Carswell's Education Ed Act memorized? No, it doesn't. But it means you need to know the ones that are really important and critical,
and where to find
it when you need that question answered. And for instance, if the health unit's going to show up because you have a contaminated yogurt issue, you need to know that your refrigerators better have been at 4 degrees Celsius and that you better have had temperature gauges inside your refrigerators
and some kind of log indicating
you regularly check them, and because they're coming now. So, and if you don't have them there, that's not going to be an acceptable
or your fire
answer.
Logbook in the
your fire inspection logbook. And because it'll be when you don't, if it's something you wait to update or something you wait to address till later, it'll be when you don't expect it to happen, and it'll be too late to address those things. So we really ask that you pay attention to detail, read carefully, and go forward from there.
So on that note, we have a couple ways that we'll be communicating with you. One is we have a YouTube channel, so we'll be sending, probably within 11 weeks, you'll see 5 videos from us, probably every second week. We also will be running a few Zoom sessions. We don't have those dates set up yet, but typically we try to run them about 7 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time. And then we have a special guest speaker. Some of you who took part 1 with us in the last 2 years may be familiar with Pam Agawa, who's a principal of Keswick. I think she's elementary school, although she may be secondary school, but she's in Keswick anyway. And she's she did our First Nation Métis and Inuit module for us for the last couple of years with the course. But she's going to be actually coming to Thunder Bay for work, and so her plane lands on Porter around 4:30. So we're going to meet with her as soon as she gets in. And so I'm just waiting to get her flight schedule. But if you can just make note, on Tuesday the 15th at around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be popping in for a 1-hour Zoom session with Pam. And we'll
January, correct?
Yes, sorry,
January,
did I say
February? No, you just didn't say.
Sorry, yes, next Tuesday, next Tuesday. And we'll have an hour there. And if all goes well, I'll properly record the Zoom session, because I had a little issue right before Christmas. I recorded one, but not the other. Actually, I think I recorded it, I just couldn't find it. But anyway, so we'll have a chance to chat with Pam and hear from her at that time. And so as we come through, we'll have a few Zoom sessions for you as well, so you have a chance to interact face-to-face with us. Recognizing that people are in multiple time zones around the world, the reality is we just have to kind of work with what we work. We both have day jobs, and there's only certain nights of the weeks that we're available, so that's when they are. So if we totally understand if you're in a different time zone and you can't make that time, but we will do our best to record it, and then I'll post it in the news so that you can have a chance to have a look at that. Okay. All right, so on that note, happy Monday, and welcome to the course, and
we'll be seeing you online.